place we stayed last night. Well, good morning. I'm Pastor Les Chemist. Welcome to Cruisin' a Narrow Road. After a good night's sleep in Charlottetown, we headed back the 30 kilometers of gravel road to the Trans-Labrador Highway. I love the gravel roads in Labrador. There's lots of them. 30 kilometer stretch that we took was extremely well maintained. In fact, we passed the grader on the way out through, just taking care of it. Even when it rains, as soon as the rain's over, they're out there cleaning it up, making sure no potholes stay or develop. It's really, really awesome. We headed back out to the Trans-Lab Highway and turned northwest, I guess you'd call it, heading towards the turnoff to Cartwright. On our way to the turnoff, although on the way to Cartwright, we decided to stop right at the sign where that indicates the change in time zone. Part of Labrador is on the Newfoundland time zone, which is a half hour different than the rest of Atlantic Canada, and the other part of Labrador is on the Atlantic Canada time zone. So we decided to stop there, take some pictures, be a little bit foolish, lay down in the middle of the road, normal stuff, right? Anyway, we headed on from there. It was a pretty good stretch. Again, nothing. There's just nothing there. So there's not a lot of footage of this. Actually, there is a lot of footage, but it's boring. It's just highway and trees and bog and highway and trees and bog. There's nothing. But we got to the turnoff to Cartwright, and it's about 90 kilometers in from the highway into the town of Cartwright. And our intention was to stay there the night. So we made the 90 kilometer trek in. It was awesome. The roads were just as good as they were in Charlottetown. Got in there, looked around a little bit, found a small motel, only to find out that it was booked up with some contract workers that were in town. So we weren't going to be able to stay there either. The problem is it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we had no place to stay. The next place along the road, along the Trans-Lab Highway, is Happy Valley Goose Bay. We had every intention of going to Happy Valley Goose Bay, but we didn't plan on being there at the time we were looking at now. So anyway, we gassed up, grabbed a sandwich at the gas station, stood out on the end of the wharf for a little while, ate our lunch, enjoyed the scenery, took the rest, then headed back out the 90 kilometers of gravel road to the Trans-Lab Highway again. And went on to Goose Bay. The total stretch from Cartwright to Goose Bay was 413 kilometers, I believe it was. So we had to have gas with us. I had a gas jug on the side. Matt had some as well, and we had to stop along the way. We did make it into Goose Bay probably about 6 o'clock or maybe a little after, maybe 6:30. And just as we were coming in the main drag, could see the gas station on my left about 300 feet. There was a traffic light, and just as I'm rolling up to the traffic light, my bike starts to sputter. I was out of gas. I had just enough fumes in the tank to get away from the stoplight and coast into the gas station and gas stop. So we're thankful to be there. That was awesome. The problem is when you run out of gas on an older bike, you run the risk of sucking debris up into the fuel system. And that's exactly what happened. I ended up sucking some rust and stuff up. I didn't feel it right that evening, but as the bike sat and I started it the next day, it wasn't running right, and I knew my injectors were probably fouled. Something was going on. I was able to get to a mechanic. Praise the Lord for mechanics who will come in spur of the moment on a Saturday, and the guy come in, tore my bike down to the injectors, cleaned out the injectors, put it all back together. Took him about an hour and a half to do it. Only charged me $65 for the work. I was just absolutely in awe, praising God that I was able to get that taken care of. But we had an awesome time in Goose Bay. We ended up staying at Happy Valley Baptist Church. They put us up in the church, but we went over to the pastor's farm. He's got the only cattle farm in all of Labrador, and he raises a Scottish Highland breed, which are kind of popular these days, the long-haired cattle. But we had a great time there with the family, had numerous meals with them, and it was just a good time. God was good to us, and we didn't realize that we were going to be there at the time, in the time frame we ended up at Happy Valley Goose Bay. But man, we are thankful for the several days we ended up staying there, being with the pastor and his family, being at the church and fellowshipping with them. I think I'll wait and tell you about the church a little more on our next episode, and that'll be out in a couple of weeks. I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you've never subscribed, please do so, and don't forget to click that little bell icon so you get notified when all the videos come out. Thanks for joining me today. May God bless you, and have a great day.